Good morning, good morning, good morning. This is our vulnerable community, February 11th, 2025. We are glad this morning to have with us Chatham County's first black sheriff, and we just wanted to talk with him just a little bit this morning and let him introduce himself. This is our first Black History program, so he said history, so we're gonna let him introduce himself and tell us a little bit about himself. Sheriff Coleman, you on mute, Sheriff?
Hello, good morning, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Tell us just a little bit about yourself, Sheriff. He's evidently having some difficulty there, but Sheriff Richard Coleman he is the first black sheriff in Savannah, and we look forward to him doing some good work in the city of Savannah and Chatham County. Sheriff Coleman, if you ready, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and introduce yourself?
Good morning. Can you hear me, Mr. Irvin?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Go ahead.
Hey, okay. I'm sorry we had somewhat of some technical difficulties here. Good morning to everyone. Listen, it's just an amazing day as usual, and we're out here, and we're I'm out here in the community very early. For me, within the last 3.5 to 4 weeks, um, it's been busy work. It's been busy work. I'm so grateful to enter to the month of February with Black History Month, and to be a part of the history that you, the community, has made possible. That's something that's endearing to my heart and something that I don't take lightly. Um, you know, um, my mother would always tell me uh, after the election, since she would say, "Son, you're standing on the backs of giants, right? Not just giants on a national aspect, but giants within our own Chatham County community. So many have paved the way right here in this area for this day and this interview to be possible. And so it's something that I did not take light, something I don't take lightly. And every day, Mr. Irvin, I'm out here in the community making sure that I represent you well as your sheriff of Chatham County, and also as your first African American sheriff of Chatham County. So um, I hold that dear to my heart, and I'm taking my service to the community very, very, very seriously.
Well, I understand that. As the first black male, what are some of the obstacles that you're facing that you can talk about?
But there's always the challenges of having that what I call that first 90-day um, observation and assessment period. There are a lot of things that I did inherit, taking the position, and you kind of have to maneuver through those things and slowly begin to initiate, your own programs, your own visions, for the office. So, it's not really a battle. It's just a process of saying that, what can I use that's already in place? What can I change that's already in place? And what can I initiate or bring different uh, that we need to do or have to move forward with the office? So those are your first 90-day challenges. Is to say, within the first 3 months, how can I effectively institute my direction for the sheriff's office into the sheriff's office?
And in doing so, uh, I know that there has to be every leader makes a change when he moves into a position. Uh,
Yes.
Have there it is there any kickback on some of the changes that you're talking about making?
I hadn't really faced any real opposition as to anything that I wanted to do. I think that reason being, I've really strategized to uh, to make sure that the moves I'm making are the right moves. Um, it's not a matter that you have the authority to do things, and regardless of who has what to say, I don't really look at things like that. It's always just making the right moves and moving the right way. I think you get better results when you take your time, you assess, and then you apply. And so, with me holding on to that format, it's been effective for me, which has not really allowed me to have much opposition in any decisions I've made thus far.
Oh, good, great. I know that when we talked, when you was on the show before you were
Yes,
elected, you were talking about the shortage of deputies there. Uh, how's that going? Is that progressing any? Where are we at it with that?
a- absolutely. The first thing I did, Mr. Irwin, when I got into the office, was review the hiring policies. And so essentially, what I had to do was put a freeze on those policies and uh, essentially submit establish a faster process, right? The policies that we previously had in place, nothing was really wrong with those policies, but you essentially had to walk on water to get hired, right? And so
Right.
I had to understand that there are going to be some imperfect people out here, people who may need a second chance, who qualify for a second chance, on and who also may be worthy of that second chance. And so I've had to institute a quicker policy, still effective policy, to ensure that we give these individuals who are deserving a second chance to be able to come out there and apply at the Chatham County Sheriff's Office and be hired. At the same time, maintaining a certain standard of employment at the same time. And so, with me doing that and me putting a freeze on the current hiring policies and implementing a faster process as well as a qualified process, we've in my first 2 weeks, I think we've hired over 30 to 40 people already. And we have about 20, 25 to 30 waiting to be hired to pass background investigations. So the process is moving well. We're filling those numbers. We're getting those numbers in the jail, facilities that we need to help the current staff who's already been employed, who needs those that rest time, that me time, and essentially it's all working together because I implemented that fast paced yet efficient and effective hiring policy.
Well, I'm glad to hear that part because we know that staffing was a big problem.
Yes, yes,
If we can't have the proper staffing, then all kind of things go on that we can't
that's
have no
right.
control over.
That's right. I always tell people, when you have a shortage of staffing, that normally means a shortage of oversight. When you have a lack of oversight, uh, you tend not to catch or be able to deal with situations or serious matters as they occur, as they surface in the proper manner. And so, we want to make sure that before any of that occurs, that we have the proper staffing. We may not be 100% staffed at where we need to be, but we have the proper staffing level that we can prevent those type of incidents and occurrences from happening or occurring.
You, you know why? I was sitting down thinking before you came on.
Mm.
I thought about it. I said maybe in a couple of months we may be able to do something like a breakfast with the sheriff
Yes,
and broadcast that and it would be something that the community could see you come out and talk, and and we could do a show on it.
Absolutely. Community engagement has always been uh, what I promote, and what I look forward to. I tell people all the time, we as elected officials, we can't get elected and forget that those who uh, got us elected. And so, engaging with the community, letting people know that they can reach out and touch their sheriff is very important to me. And if it's breakfast with the sheriff, or outing with the sheriff, or coffee with the sheriff, or wherever you need the sheriff to be, I can assure you I will make every effort to be there. People made every effort to go to the polls and vote. So I feel as an elected official and as their county sheriff, I need to make every effort to get to the citizens and to keep that connection going, to let them know that they are accessible and that their sheriff is accessible to the community.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's good. We have in Chatham County, our homeless rate is out of is over the roof, and I know that that's a problem for you. So, what are you doing? What can you tell us anything about what you're doing to try to eliminate some of those problems?
Well, right now, we haven't been able to directly target the homeless situation. What I have, what I can say is that we're still working in conjunction with municipalities who are dealing with this homelessness rate. I mean, at a growing rate right now, right? It's not just in one area of our county; it's all over our county. This is still a priority to me. I have had conversations, recent conversations, with some elected officials about a homeless rate, and my position it remains the same: is that it's going to be a combined effort of not just one office or one agency or one municipality, but it's going to take a combined effort to address this homeless rate. What we're trying to do on my end is to make sure that these folks are safe, right? They're not out there being taken advantage of because of their situation. Um, but when it comes down to ensuring that they get the necessities that they need as far as personal care items, uh, places where they can safely lay their head down. These are things that we're going to have to address uh, under a unified umbrella. Because at the end of the day, whether they homeless or not, they're still human beings. In my conversations, I make one statement to anyone that I talk to about the homeless is that a man can't walk 24 hours a day. At some point, he's got to drop his bag and lay his head down. And we've got to make sure uh, that we understand that. And I don't think that running people away from certain areas is going to fix the problem. Because again, they can't walk for so long in a day. No matter where you run them to, or try to run them at some point, they're going to have to put their bags down and lay their heads down. And that's just the human aspect of things. And so when we're addressing the homeless in the homeless situation, we can't forget about that. And it's definitely something that I'm in the fight for. Right now, we provided during the storms. I was very proud of my sheriff's office because we provided security at the warmer stations, which essentially housed the homeless, and to make sure that they had a place to lay their heads down safely at night. And so I was very proud of my staff, very proud of my deputies uh, uh, for making sure that recognizing that these individuals are still human beings, and that recognize these individuals still human beings, and taking just taking the duty of securing and providing safety for the homeless just as serious as they would do any other situation or incident. So we've been involved. It's more work to do. We hadn't scratched the surface yet with it, but as your sheriff, I am here. I'm ready to be involved, to
be actively involved in trying to find solutions for our homeless population.
Great, great, great. Well, so many people look down on the homeless, but they don't think that a lot of people are one step away from being homeless, and
Yes,
and that one step could happen anytime. We had
yes,
a program last Friday night to try to put a cap on the rent because rent has gone so high, people can't even afford it, and people are getting evicted so fast. It's a shame. I ran through three neighborhoods last week and saw people's furniture just out on the street. So, that's something that a lot of people need to think about before they start talking about the homeless.
yes. I mean, it's just so hard to live anymore, right? It's just so hard to live anymore, and what people don't understand, or there's some that do understand, but what a lot of people don't understand is the fact that when there's a need and an individual doesn't have the ability uh, to supply that need or to fulfill that need the right way, if times require desperation, uh, then they use desperation methods and actions to fulfill that need. And essentially, what that means is that you see a spike in crime, right? And you see a spike in safety, and because of desperational needs. And so one thing we've got to understand is that we are not making it comfortable for people to have the ability to live a decent life and a comfortable life. They're going to turn to desperational efforts to fulfill their needs, and again, that's going to cause what increase in crime. And so we need to, again, those are one of these humanity things that I often speak about, because I'm a sheriff that's about humanity. And so we need to understand that if we don't make things comfortable, or at least affordable for people to live, then they're going to turn to other measures to ensure that they stay alive or live or get the things that they need just to survive. And we don't want to put our citizens in survival mode, because that causes problems in other areas that we just don't want to see.
I hear you. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with you, Sheriff. Let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Thank you.
Savannah, are you looking for some of the best Southern soul food? Then check out Kim's Cafe at 714 MLK Boulevard. The food is so good, you'll think that your mother cooked it. Located in the heart of Savannah, Kim's has a menu that includes breakfast anytime, lunch when you need it, and dinner so you won't have to cook when you get home. They also cater all types of events and can host your reserved event at the restaurant. Come see what everyone has been raving about. Great food, great atmosphere, and a great time. Kim's Cafe, 714 MLK Boulevard in beautiful downtown Savannah.
Well, that one got me hungry.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
That
Oh
one got
man,
me hungry.
Kim, Kim's Cafe. I'm a proud supporter of Kim's Cafe.
Yes, sir. Food is great, I tell you.
Yes.
We've uh, we've talked in the past and about the mental health issues that's been going on at the jailhouse. How not how, but yeah, how is it going now? Is it progressing to a point where you can make some changes that would help some of the people who are in there that really don't need to be in there, because everybody don't need to be jailed. Some people just need mental health and they have mental health problems, and they need to be treated for it. How's that going?
Well, since I started, since day one, I've been in office about 3.5 weeks now. Since I started from day one, I've made mental health a priority. Right now, things are in conversation. It's always been my stance that people don't need incarceration; they need treatment. Right? They don't need jail; they need help. Now, those mental health individuals who commit serious crimes, of course, they have to go through our judicial process for those crimes that are committed. But we need to address the factor or the key factor when it comes to these particular crimes that's committed. And when you're dealing with mental health, it's just that it's a mental illness, right? It's something that's beyond the normal control. And so, again, these are one of those conversations, Mr. Irvin, that it's going to take a unified effort to address. Right now, sheriffs all over Georgia and really all over this nation are becoming the leading mental health providers. The only solution that they have right now for mental health people is jail, right? It's because they can get medicine, there they can get food, and there they have facilities uh, specified for their conditions that they can lay their heads and essentially, be housed without concern. But it does not address the root of the problem. We are a detention facility. We are not a mental health hospital. And so these things have to be addressed. But right now, it just appears to be, and it's not just with me. Every sheriff that I talk to is that every sheriff is talking about the mental health situation. And they're essentially forcing sheriffs to be the keeper, the provider, the caretaker, the caregiver of mental health patients or mental individuals who suffer with a mental health illness. And this is not right. This is detention. This is jail. This is not a treatment facility. So there's got to be a lot of effort on a lot of ends to address the mental health situation. From my position here in Chatham County, I've always said that it's a matter, and it's a part of this transitional process of me, reaching out to my commission board to say, hey, what can you do to help alleviate this problem, or what can we do from a county's perspective to help alleviate this problem where the sheriff is not holding the bulk of mental health responsibility. The bulk of mental health responsibility needs to be in the medical field. It needs to be in areas where they can receive treatment and not incarceration. And so it's going to take a conversation. My proposed plan was because we have mental health courts here in Chatham County, but is to reach out to commissioners to have that conversation to say, hey, listen, give me a facility out there in Georgia Regional where it's on site in a mental health treatment facility where individuals who are brought to jail or who are detained can be at a facility that gives them the treatment that they need. From that particular facility, we can assess and treat the crime in the caseload according to the illness, especially if it's not those cases that are involving serious infractions. And so, this is my plea. This is my cry. Like I said, we're still in that first 90-day cycle, and I'm still only 3.5 weeks to 4 weeks in. But these are the things that you can expect from me in the very, very near future. Is because this situation with mental health has to be addressed. It cannot be overlooked. It cannot be avoided. We've got to tackle it head on. But it's going to take more than just the voice of the sheriff. It's going to take a combined and unified effort of all individuals, all governing bodies and individuals who have authority within our county system.
Well, we have so many people that's walking the street that don't even realize that they have a mental problem.
Yes,
And when they have these breakdowns, and a lot of them don't even go to therapists to find out whether they got a problem, and they have these breakdowns, then that throws them on you.
right,
So, you know, there's got to be a system built somewhere within the structure of the workings of the community that we can somehow build a mental health outlet for people, because you have too many. You can see too many young folk walking down the street, walking around talking to themselves, uh, doing strange things, and you know something that isn't quite right, but they there by themselves, and nobody to talk to them, nobody to help them, and you know.
and, and you're absolutely right, Mr. Irvin. And what's the normal outcome of that? Somebody's going to call law enforcement. They're going to be addressed, and 9 times out of 10, they're probably going to be charged with loitering, prowling, criminal trespass, or some form of disorderly conduct, um, uh, just to address a temporary, to provide a temporary fix. Right, and excuse me 1 second. I got emergency services going by me, so it may be kind of loud just for a second. Just to provide a temporary fix. And like you said, you go out into the community, they're talking to themselves, they're walking around, they're showing behaviors of a mental health illness. And the only resolve that we've had or we seem to be able to provide at this point is incarceration. And at some point, they're going to walk somewhere, somebody's going to call the police. Police have to respond because it's a call for service. And you're going to see one of three of those charges being placed on that individual, and they're going to be right here at the Chatham County Detention Center. And this is just a process that we need to address that can't continue. There's a better resolution out there for our mental health citizens.
I would be elated to see something done, because we used to have well, it's Gateway, and then what's the other place out there on Eisenhower Drive,
Georgia Regional Hospital.
Georgia Regional. Uh, they stay full.
Right.
They're at capacity, and some of our people just need to take the time to talk to somebody. You know, when we get a chance, sometime we need to just talk to people. Had a situation a couple of months ago. I walked out the office, and guy walking down the street, and then out of nowhere he decided he wanted to strike up a conversation with me that normally I wouldn't hold a conversation with people, but thank goodness I changed my life from the way I did. And he standing there shaking his finger in my face, telling me what he was going to do and all this, and I'm just standing there looking at him. And then he said, "Thank you, man," and I turn around and walk off. But he had to get it off his chest. Whatever it was he was talking about, he had to get it off his chest. I wasn't that, interested in what he was talking about. I'm more interested in emotion. But you have to sometimes take the time to listen to people.
You do. I recall I was uh, just before I think right after, maybe just before, or either right after I took office, I was out at Pula, um, at a Starbucks, having a meeting, and I noticed a gentleman. He kept looking back at me, and the individual that I was meeting with, was getting quite uncomfortable. Um, I wouldn't say I was getting uncomfortable because I'm kind of used to dealing with that. But it caused me to be alert, and we kept talking and just to ignore the individual. And apparently, the individual at some point got up, came over to me, and he started making statements, such as, "You talking to me, talking to me." And I said, "No, sir. I'm sitting here having a conversation with the party that I'm with." And so we made efforts just to ignore him, just allow him to speak. You could tell it was a mental health situation. And he turned around and walked away. And he came back. And, as we continued our conversation, he came back and he's talking to me. He says, "I'll kill you, MF himself. Coleman, I know who you are, Sheriff." Right. And he told me he's going to kill me right there in the restaurant. He had a black bag in his hand. So I essentially, at that point, I was in police mode, right?
Right.
Full sheriff. And but I knew then that I was dealing with a mental health patient. And so my concern at that time was, number one, what did he have in that bag?
Right. Right.
And me being in a public place, what was going to happen, and also to be concerned about the guest that I was with. The guest was a high profile guest. And so essentially, I was able to get the guest outside. And I said, "Well, obviously, he's talking to me because he's threatening to kill me." I mean, he called my name, knew my title, and he told me he was about to kill me. And so obviously, I walked my guest outside because I knew he was following me. And I told my guest to go in a different direction, call the police, and I was going to go in another direction so just to make sure that everybody's safe because obviously I was his target. But at the same time, I didn't overreact because I realized I was dealing with a mental health patient. And I always campaign on helping the mental health. And so we were able to call Pula PD. They arrived. I was able to meet them before they arrived because I walked away. I told him where he was at. I informed Pula. I said, "Listen, I'm okay. I'm not worried about the threats of my life. They weren't direct threats, but I wasn't really worried about it. I said, I'm just worried about what he has in that bag and the position that he's in the public place around his feet."
That's
And
right.
they were able to, uh, I told them that, I really didn't want to press charges, just because I realized he had some mental health issues. I just wanted to get him some treatment. I guess Pula didn't quite see it the way I saw it, but they were able to apprehend the guy, and they eventually did charge the guy. But again, I wasn't looking to press charges. I was just looking to make sure that the people were safe and make sure that we can get him some help. And I still, again, I'm probably not going to pursue that. That's a felony and threat on my life, but I'm probably not going to. I just want him to get help. But that goes to show you, like you said, when you're out there in the public, how real the mental health crisis is, and how our citizens are dealing with mental health issues.
Yes, sir. I tell you, it's amazing. When I have tried to figure out the mental state of a lot of our young men now that walking around with pants sagging. I have not figured that mental state out yet. I know people say it's a fad, but that's a fad that I don't see. Nobody want to look at nobody's backside. At least
That's
I.
right. I know, no, of course. I mean, you more years than myself, Mr. Irvin, and even though my generation that was not an acceptable practice, and so I'm like you. I'm often I may not be as aggressive at it as those who are a little bit older than myself, but it's definitely something that I personally don't understand. I probably never understand. And so I'm hoping at some point that, it takes a village, is what they say. It takes a village. That's another EMS situation going on. But as they say, it takes a village. And one thing that we can't stop doing on the side of society as well as safety, as well as upbringing, is that we can't stop being involved with the newer generation. We have to constantly remind them about things that are important, the values, morals, and these type of things, so that we don't lose a generation just because we're not from that generation. There's a lot of things that will happen as the world changes and time goes on. But there is an old saying that some things just ain't broke. And if it ain't broke, then we don't need to try and fix
As members of the black community, at one point in time, we had pride that was second to none. We had to dress, and when we dressed, we go out. People knew who we were because of how we dress. I just wonder sometime how far down we are going to go. But we're gonna take another quick break, and we'll be right back with you. And we let you wrap it up because I know you're a busy man. But we'll be right back in just a couple of minutes after this break. So we'll see you in just a couple of seconds.
it. Look forward to it.
Need your garments cleaned with care and with a professional touch? Then bring them to One Price Cleaners in Garden City at the Old Farmers Market on Highway 80. Service you can count on.
Hey there! Are you ready to amplify your voice and embrace your passion? Tune in to Our Black Media Network, where community comes first and every story matters. We're here 24/7, delivering powerful content on everything from financial literacy to the latest in sports and mental health. We are unapologetically real, reflecting the heartbeat of our community with programs that inspire, empower, and drive change. Join us on all major media platforms to celebrate our unique voices and advocate for the change we want to see. With over 50K monthly viewers, our network is your go-to destination for authentic, engaging content. Be a part of the movement. Be a part of the change. Tune in to Our Black Media Network today and let your voice be heard.
All right. You know, we have some organizations in the community, Sheriff, that is trying to make changes, to help make change, to bring about change. Uh, will the sheriff department be interested in working with some of these organizations if they're talking about stopping crime and helping with the homelessness?
Absolutely. That's what the sheriff office is all about. I tell people all the time there's two part prone to our message. It's also protecting, but the other part of that message is service. And we're bound to service our community. And if that service means community engagement, to be proactive and less reactive, and to help initiate peace and positivity throughout our community, then we're going to be a part of that. As long as Richard Coleman is to share with me
to
to I want our community to understand that they have access to their sheriff's office. The sheriff's office is here for them. It's here for their service. It's here to engage in everything and every aspect that's needed to provide a safe, healthy, flourishing community. And even if it doesn't involve the sheriff's office directly, we're here to support all positive initiatives and all things that are going to allow our community to be that successful, peaceful, flourishing community that it needs to be. And as long as Richard Coleman is sheriff, we're definitely going to be a part of all of these initiatives when it comes down to community engagement.
I agree with you. There's several programs. In fact, we are part of one program where we try to engage uh, the students as they graduate from high school. Those that are not going to attend higher education colleges, and they're just left out in the street. Nobody's doing anything for them. We're trying to engage with these kids and get them into apprentice programs so that they can be productive citizens and
Yes, yes,
get them off the street. Number one, get them, make them productive citizens, and then we can help lower the crime rate because
yes.
when a person go to work, about 8 hours work. If he working 8 hours, he ain't got time to run the street.
No, no, no. No, we, it's funny you said that, Mr. Irving, because that's something I'll always say myself. When a man has money in his pocket, he doesn't have time for foolishness. And and again, you talking about entrepreneurship, engaging these young folks at an early age. It's a part of that being proactive uh, uh, measures that we need to take and take more of. Again, the Bible says if you train up a child in the way that you would have them to go, as they grow older and they involve themselves in life, they won't depart from their teachings, right? And you're a man of God, also, Mr. David. You know that word a little bit better than I do, but I don't think I'm far off in what I'm saying. And so, getting involved with the youth early, being proactive, even from the stages of, not so much just being young, even from teenagers to young adults, and in
That's
those
right.
stages of 20 to 30, we still need to be involved. Because that's that critical stage where direction in life is established. And I think that it's more critical then than the early years, because it helps shape futures and shape outcomes of lives.
We were fortunate enough when we started the program. We got 12 kids in the program, and this is back in 2019. Those kids graduated from the apprentice programs. They're now journeymen, and they're making well over six figures. And they can come back and they can tell other kids now, hey, you need to get in this program because this is the kind of thing that you need to be doing. But so many people want to close the doors on these young kids before they even get a chance to make a move.
Yes,
We've went so far now as to work with another program in order to get them GEDs. If they don't have a college graduation, we get them a GED so that they can get in and get something done. So programs like that, that we need the blessings of the city and the county.
Absolutely. A unified effort. Absolutely. 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 Again, like you said, getting these programs and all of these initiatives for that early outreach is key. And also having um, groups, governing bodies, unifying to say, hey, let's make it work. Putting aside our personal agendas for the benefit of the community. And these are things that it's going to take to move these type of programs and initiatives forward, and ensuring that we're not self-service, but we're serving. And I think that as long as we have that focus and as long as we have that unified effort, these programs will be successful in shaping our tomorrow.
Yes, sir. With the outlook of this new administration that we have, how do you think that it's going to affect Chatham County and your position as sheriff in the sheriff department?
Well, of course, we had situations with ICE. I think within my first week or so, I think during my first week, I was visited by ICE agents um, um, from the White House, working directly with the federal government. However, they never came back to me to let me know about any operations that they were going to actively uh, conduct in our area. And so it's things like that. I spoke to other Democratic sheriffs who had the same similar experience. They were actually visited by ICE, but never knew the operations that were occurring. They did say they would be conducting operations on a federal level, but they never informed me of anything that was going on in our area. And my position from that, speaking of the current federal government, it's very clear. You know, um, I'm a lawman. I have to uphold the law. That's the position that I'm in. Um, but I, um, I, um, I, I'm also constitutionally bound. I'm also constitutionally bound, and my position is a constitutional officer. So, I'm not going to do anything that's going to violate the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the state of Georgia. And so, with this new government system that we have, we have to kind of learn how to maneuver within this system the right way. There's a right and a wrong way to do everything, but the right way. And also, from constitutional positions such as myself as chair, to make sure that no matter what orders and directives come out, that we remain true to our oath and uphold the Constitution. And so it's going to be a challenging 4 years from my personal perspective. But at the same time, I'm looking forward to the challenges for myself. I don't know, I can't speak for other governing bodies or constitutional offices, but I can always assure the citizens of Chatham County that I will uphold the law as the sheriff, but I will not violate the Constitution to do that. And that's my position.
You know, that's good. I've got a couple of Hispanic friends that really they were really shuck up. Like I told them, I said, as long as you got your paperwork, you're in good shape. But if you ain't got your paperwork, then you're in trouble. Uh, I've heard of situations where they said a couple of people got picked up, but I never heard any more about it. But I
Yeah,
think
I hadn't been informed on it as well. They've totally um, kept me out of the loop. I expressed that to several media stations that, yes, I did have a meeting I think it was on my first week, but after that, I didn't know about anything about any operations going on. They just kind of did it. Um, and so, we have to maneuver around, them just conducting these random operations and not involve local law enforcement, constitutional officers. And it's something definitely going to have to be addressed, especially if we're talking about operating in Chatham County. So, there needs to be a discussion, but we're going to reach out to the ICE agency and kind of get some answers as to what's really going on. Because right now, we're just not kept in the loop, or at least I'm not kept in the loop. Any sheriff that I've talked to hadn't been kept in the loop as far as these operations going on.
All right. Well, Sheriff, we got about 5 minutes. We're gonna let you do your make your closing statements to our community this morning, and we thank you for what you're doing in your service to the community, and we pray that you continue to do well in your position, and that you make it shine like a light that never shined before.
I appreciate that. Well, thank you, Mr. Irvin, first off, for having me. And Our Black Media, as always, reaching out and servicing the community. And I'm just happy to be your sheriff. I'm very grateful for the opportunities that citizens have given me. And I'm making good on everything that I said I was going to do. It's Black History Month, and it's because of you, the citizens, that has made this history possible for me in my life. And I'm so grateful. It's something that I don't take lightly. It's something that I respect, and it's something that I hold very dear to my heart. Very proud to be in a position to stand on the back of giants, not just on a national level, but also locally here in Chatham County. And I plan on moving this office forward. I plan on giving all the citizens of Chatham County the service that they need, that they desire, from the perspective of the sheriff's office. And whatever I can do, I will do. I'm here for you. And as my motto says, I can't do it by myself. I won't ever try. But together as a community, together as a united front, no matter what political division that you belong to, when it comes down to Chatham County, together we can. God bless you all. Thank you for having me, Mr. Irvin.
Thank you, Sheriff, and we look forward to a couple of months having breakfast with the sheriff and sit down and taking care of business and letting you know what the community needs, and the community letting you know what they need. So we'll be looking forward to that. We will next week. We're looking forward to having Demetrius Cozy, an attorney with the NAACP Legal Department, and he's going to be talking about what's going on in the state legislature here in Georgia, and what we need to be watching out for. And we're going to make sure that we keep the community well informed of what's going on. So David, Holly, and all the rest of y'all that's looking this morning, we want to tell y'all thank you for watching. And we'll see y'all back next Tuesday at 10 o'clock, right back here at the Vulnerable Community. We'll see y'all later. Bye now. God bless.
God bless you all.
Like that.